and then people will like, pop in and then just give their feedback. Because one thing is definitely I want to do is get this on YouTube. And I want to get like what we're doing and just get like constantly on YouTube, because, stereo is not that popular and it is what it is. But we can produce, like you said, like get good clips and good controversial moments out there and have it being viewed on video. And then when people want to like engage with us, they can literally chat with us on stereo.
I like that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I see my headphones are bound in and out. Let me see. But you can hear me clearly, right? Like nothing's getting weird with my sound. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Yeah. Yeah. Same back, vice versa, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Now, what I always do on this in order to make the video look a little bit better, if you move your screen so like we're actually stacked.
Mm-hmm.
So the video, so you move your zoom, so square it off like this, so our videos will actually get stacked, and I'll be on top and you'll be on the bottom.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
So like
you basically like you squish it, and like the video is actually stacked.
So like you click gallery view and it switches the view.
Or do you see us both? Does it switch back and forth with us right now? Is that what how you have it?
I switched it to where I'm just on top and you're on bottom.
I think that's like the best way, as far as like sometimes how the eyes read it, where it looks a little bit better that way.
Okay. And I have you like in the middle, so like when I look at you, I'm like in the middle,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Cool, man.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, oh, you already started recording. Sweet. Okay, cool.
We're rocking.
Hell yeah. So freaking yeah, man. What's going on, OJ? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good today. It's been a busy day. I've seen a lot of people, feeling that COVID can be like a slow time. For me, COVID, it's been fast paced, and it's been fun. So today is good. Right. What have you been up to today?
It's been good. It's been good. I've been chilling, getting some work done today. I'm gonna go get some chicken, and I'm having some weird like primal brain things going where like I wake up in the morning and I'm just like, I'll do my thing, and then I'm just like midday, like my hunger kicks in, and then it'll like identify one protein that I just want that day, and it'll be like fish. And I'm just like, all right, I gotta go eat fish. Or it's like chicken. I was like, all right, I want to go chicken. Or like it was like fucking, just vegetables, and just go get vegetables. And then I'm not even like paying attention. And then it just like clicked in with me today. And I was like I'm not even like directing my own like what am I even doing? I'm just like listening to my primal brain of just saying like, you want this today? And I just like wake up and go get it. And I'm wondering like, what is the deal?
Are you going to the grocery store more often though? So you go there basically every day?
Dude, so like a little bit of both. So I'll go to the grocery store, but like a lot of times when that thing kicks in, I'll just go get it immediately. So like I'll just like go get sushi, or go get a sandwich, or go get a chicken, whatever. And like
so it's mainly takeout.
Like I end up spending more. Yeah, so I end up spending more money, which is horrific.
Yeah, but you're supporting small businesses. You're making it happen for the community. That's how you got to think of it.
Exactly. The whole point is I'm supporting small businesses. I am giving my money to support small businesses. Sometimes or giving tip, depending on, their service back to me. But, I still feel the same way about tipping. But I am supporting small businesses rather than going to the big chain grocery store that they're just, I don't know what they're doing with the money, but,
This has changed my tipping habits when it comes to takeout. Because usually with takeout, I'm always a little bit annoyed that there's even a tip line. Pre-COVID. It's like, wait, what are you talking about? Like a tip. Right. There's no tip.
Dude.
But now I've been a pretty good like 18 to 20% tipper even on the takeout. I keep it moving.
Right. What gets me is the tip like before they even like request any service whatsoever. They just like tip us first. And it's like, excuse me, I don't know you, and I don't know if the food is going to be good or not. And this is our first time here. So, I mean, I always feel a certain way about tipping, because I'm like, do I tip you just because you said hello? Like, did I tip you just because you smiled at me? Or like, is it like, do I have to tip all the time? or like I always feel a certain type of way. Like I always want to tip if someone goes like if someone's like obviously if I'm having a good day I'll tip, or if someone's just like
Yeah.
being extra nice to me or doing like almost going a little bit out of the way, but just doing like your job, it's like to tip to not to tip. You know what I mean?
But it's like it's baked into the system where, and I actually think it's probably a good system, but you good service is 18%. You know,
Yeah.
being really, really not like you've done a great job, then you hit them with like 20, 22, and then it's I think it's a jab to a waiter or waitress pre-COVID if
Mm-hmm.
you're hitting him with 10%. It's like, wait, what did
Wow.
I? How I kind of think about it is as an Uber driver once in my life.
Yeah.
If you don't have 5 stars as an Uber, that actually hurts you.
Right. Which
So
is crazy.
so if you ever give an Uber driver like 4 stars, that doesn't help. And there would be a lot of people that would like jump out of the car and they'd be like, "Yo, man, you did great. You got 4 stars." And it's like, no, that's not great. That actually like
Yeah.
that hurts my status. I think the same thing
Right.
happens with tipping, where a lot of people do, "Hey, you did great.
Mm.
Here's 10%." It's like, no, that's not how it plays. That's when it comes to
Right.
the pay structure of this system. 18%
Right.
is that's that neutral grade.
So like I'm gonna come back to Uber driving in just a second. But like a restaurant owner, like I'm coming in from the pessimistic point of view. Like first of all, it ain't my fault that it's baked in. I didn't do that. I didn't tell. I didn't hire you to say that you get paid off of tips, bitch.
Yeah.
I just give you money per hour or give you money based on your performance, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a restaurant owner, and yeah, yeah, of course I want to, because I'm an owner, I want to save as much money as possible. But at the same time, it's like, hey man, like, you know, I'm depending on other people to pay my employees, essentially, to pay like other people to pay my employees living wage. Isn't that
Okay.
a little weird? You know?
You know what? I do think that you're right when it comes to that. However, knowing a lot of people that have done bartending, been
Mm-hmm.
waitresses, if you're smart about the restaurants that you select to work at,
Yeah.
most of those people would never work for minimum wage because they're making bank on Friday and Saturday night. Now, it might not
Right.
maybe span out all the if when it evens out, maybe throughout the week, it's as if they're making like $25 an hour or something. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember like hanging out with people in college and they'd be like, "Hey, I just made like $300 last night."
Mm.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
And they weren't gone very long.
Yeah.
4 hours, $300. That's not minimum wage.
Yeah. No, and that's good. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. It paid like from if I was a waiter, I would love to get paid more. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I think it's
Right.
just I think where my split is like the expectation of something you have to do based on something it's something like you or like rather you something you would want to do rather than something that you have to do based on something. And then like yeah like even if like you kind of like using the example that you used about the Uber, you know, if someone does a good job, yeah, you give them 5 stars. They do what they do. You do what they need to do. If they do something wrong, then you start docking from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like tipping, depending on the person, it's like the better you do, the more I'll pay. But like the more the basic job that you do, I feel like I'd not to pay more for it, if that makes sense.
And that's where the floor is actually 18. That's the weird part about
Mm,
tipping, right? Like that's how
right.
the system's baked it in, where it's 18 and
Mm.
up. Floorboard is
Wow.
saying, "Hey, you walked in the door, you helped me out, I ordered my food, you
Mm,
gave me good service." That's the floor. But
mm.
they also should teach kids that in high school. That needs to
Yeah.
be almost part of the program. Hey, just so you know,
Yeah.
if you had pretty good service, that's 18%. If you had
Yeah.
kind
Talk
of
about
crappy service, like hit them with 15 or 12.
right, right. Missing education in high school is insane. Real quick, before we continue, I do want to make sure our our stereo is actually worded right. I sent you a live, but I need to like hashtag it and like word it correctly to make sure we have our things in order, but I don't think that's possible.
Okay.
It might not be possible.
I'm gonna jump off screen real quick too.
Yeah, no, that's no problem. We can just continue ranting. Yeah. Do you see on? Let me know on your end if you see something where you can possibly name the stereo stream. Mm-hmm. And what's good is that when we get our YouTube Studio stream for next time, we can stream this talk. There's a button to stream it directly to YouTube or Twitch. Oh, we can also stream on Twitch. Yeah, so that we can totally do a switch too. So there's a button here. We can stream it. So I'm glad we're kind of getting the kinks. I'm glad we're kind of getting the kinks out. As time goes on, because we're gonna blow up here. So the one person that's listening, just know that we're gonna blow up pretty soon. So I'm pretty pumped. No.
This trash will become something. Don't you worry.
Oh yes, absolutely. It will absolutely become a treasure. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling calm. I'm not as like hyper, which is great. I felt very hyper last time. Yeah. They I don't know if they liked it or something, but that's okay. But I think they're phone died. That's probably what happened. Yeah, that's exactly what happened, because they wouldn't click off of our stream. They wouldn't do that.
Okay. So now I think we've gotten our nice. Let's jump into what is this show. Now this is basically like the start, I think.
Cool.
I'm ready.
Okay. So that was just a rifting portion. Let's go into our topics, yeah?
So we got smart and mild, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the premise of this show is two pretty mild friends trying to talk about smart stuff.
Yep.
Everyone likes their hot sauces. Some people like hot, spicy. We're some mild people. But we do like to talk smart, but that doesn't mean that we are smart. And so this is
definitely mild intelligence here.
So that is that rift, trying to just bridge that gap. Maybe one day we can get to the space that we're really hoping to get, but it's going to take, constant communication, a little bit of discussion, but we are going to reach on some of the conversations that we hope to be able to discuss thoroughly, but we won't always know how to discuss them right. And then we're gonna hit some TikTok culture. Yeah. We're gonna live in that space too, which is just
we get to.
Yeah, it's some of that BS as well, because sadly me and you care about that. So
yeah.
And that's where culture's moving. So we'll see what happens here, but that's why we're on such a trendy app like Stereo. Because we're searching.
Yeah, and you know what? And we're basically moving to this space, right? The internet, basically entertainment space, essentially. And because we're moving to that space, we definitely get to talk about what's going on around it, in and around it, in some form or fashion, wherever it is. TikToks are basically here to stay. It is what it is, at least for a certain point in time. It's going to be some form of fashion. It's going to be TikTok or Byte, but through the same shit.
Yep, you're going to be able to follow us on. You're going to be able to follow us on TikTok, Instagrams, YouTube, Twitch, Stereo. We're going to be going live on some of those platforms, and then we'll be posting clips that we just think are dope, hilarious, or make us look stupid.
Yep.
You're going to see us promote clips that make us look like idiots.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
And that's just going to happen.
Yep. And that's on purpose, because the reality is, I mean, hey, so, I think, finding things that we find, interesting, talking about cool things in sports, current events, like I said, live internet culture, and just really talking about the things that intrigues us. Something that, might have been from the current event. That's something that might be a little complicated from the Harvard Business Schools, or like the stock market, or, the business and science, even to even something that was Joe Rogan was talking about, to something that was a Twitch streamer, like we're going to talk about later on, what's going on with Twitch, and going on with people doing, why trends or even trends with TikTok and things like that.
And I
So,
like finally getting out of a space where like even all like political commentary is just based on like what CNN, what Fox, what
mhm,
MSNBC are saying. I like when a
yeah,
lot of the times when I'm talking to you, our political commentary is like what Dave Portnoy was saying, what Elon Musk
mhm,
was saying, bringing it
yeah,
more back down to, you know, people, business leaders, sometimes just a random YouTuber on what that
yeah,
opinion was. Because I like to get my sources are really closer to the street than
mhm,
always really caring about those opinions from above.
right,
Because at least in like that political spectrum of things, I don't think that really allows you to get a real understanding of like what's going on in life.
yeah,
And so I love what these new types of mediums allow for us to
mhm,
be able to discuss and have social commentary from so many different voices at the exact same time. I love to ingest all of it. It's but
yeah,
I get most of my information now honestly through YouTube. You know,
yeah,
based on how people are putting it out. YouTube, Spotify, that's pretty much my go-to when it comes to what's happening today.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that makes sense because it's really going back to what the people were talking about. And it actually kind of scales back to even like a old school like town square type of time if you think about it, like in the new digital age, because we're getting information based on like what the people are talking about.
What's
And
your
there's a lot.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
No,
you
go ahead.
go.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to
I was
ask
saying, I
you
was saying, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
what's your first move when you hear something happens? So, whether it's like the the president gets COVID, the a home run just happened in the World Series. What is your first news source that you actually click on to be able to get like that information real time? Where do you go?
Real time Twitter. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, that's the fastest. I would say the fastest news aggregate that you can get.
100%.
Um, because it's always happening real time. It's always changing real time, and then you can see the change in trends like on a second by second basis.
Right.
Because the reality is news stories once they happen, they'll put out like a quick little oh, this is what happened, and then they have to put out a story. And
Right.
then so it takes time to like put it out, edit it, get your story, passed through the editors or whatever, and then you put it out, publish it. But like, and that takes time. So by the time that story has already came out, there's already a bunch of information already on Twitter or Reddit
Yep.
even, or Reddit. I would say it's my second
Really? All right.
news. Yeah,
Interesting.
news source. And but Reddit's full of a bunch of stuff too. Reddit. I feel like Reddit is they try to be a little bit higher level than the other the social media companies, but they're the same in their own way, and where it's a lot of mixed information and things like that. So you kind of still have to cipher through.
It is funny that a lot of the people that post to Reddit, don't get me wrong, I think Reddit is one of the most legit spots to receive any type of news. But there is
Yeah,
this element of smugness to like
yeah,
the person that posts on Reddit. They're kind of that kid that was really into magic cards, knew he was
hmm,
smart. He got really smart. He's making more money than the jock because
hmm,
he was an intelligent dude that went out to San
right,
Francisco. He's been making his money, but there is this air of arrogance on like
yeah,
the Reddit thread. And I kind of like it. It's
yeah,
intriguing to kind of be able to look in on that society from afar because I don't really feel like I am of that like top echelon,
yeah,
educated space that I know all these details on science and all these factors. I can read it and consume it and
right,
understand it, but my brain doesn't always go specifically to some of the places that those people are going in. I obviously am not
yeah,
narcissistic about my intelligence.
yeah, yeah.
Like I'm just here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I think what I was trying to get at is like there's also a level of like there's like someone I was listening to this on a Hidden Brain podcast, and there's a level of like political pundits who talk on Twitter like to each other, and there's like a level above the political pundits and the average person. So and I say political because it's just like when a political story comes out, um, there's like politics Twitter, and then there's like people that comment on them, and then the people that just like read it. And most people on Twitter actually are just the people who end up reading it, not the people who are engaged in the minute-to-minute tweets battles that are
The
going on.
battlefield.
When something goes down. And then there's only a very small portion of people who comment after the fact. Very small. But like I said, most people are just like reading it and reading all the shit that's going down and be like, oh, okay, that went down. Like even me, like I was searching for stories today. I didn't tweet anything today. I was just reading on like stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
And then I tell you, okay, this is what's going down.
Well, and then some people only use it as a promotional thing or as a press release, right?
Exactly.
So we'd mostly see a lot of political people just use it as a press release. Like a Joe Biden, it doesn't feel like it's coming from his fingertips. It feels like it's coming from it's coming from his team. But then you see Trumpy, and he's like, those are mostly his fingertips.
Those are his fingers. Yeah.
AOC, it's his fingertips.
Right.
Bernie Sanders is kind of like a split hit and miss of like fingertips or his team just doing PR. But it is interesting, those political pundits that are willing to like go straight off the tips of the finger and go in. I love the new world that we fight things in open air. Like no one gets sued privately anymore. It's like, oh, this person's suing me and F them.
Yeah. It's very out loud, and and that's another topic for another day. I feel like life is going like the what do you call it? It's there's something like what the real value is actually being private more so than public now.
Maybe.
And I was thinking about that because it's having your life as public is now it's becoming more common, and so private life is actually become more uncommon. So I was thinking about that, and because of everything when it comes to like the internet presence, things like that, because especially when you're quote unquote celebrities, their whole lifestyle is basically with them being public or public about the information that they want to share. Reality is actually not as public as you think, but they're public is what they want to share.
Yeah.
And then the people that like receive it are going to like the secondhand, the third-hand celebrities or whatever are going to be able to just like want to put their whole life. That's what the whole vlogs on YouTube come out. All these videos of girls not wearing their makeup. They're literally posting inside of their room and stuff. Like and like it's crazy. So I think there's value in there. But I feel like we should save that for another day because that's a big topic right there.
I like that.
Yeah, but that's a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, we can talk about a billion things. Every time when you say something, I'm like, oh, we can go here, we can go here, we can go everywhere.
We're gonna work, and we're gonna work through it slowly. That's all we can do.
Yeah, real slow. And then also there's times where we may even repeat things. There's times where you may even repeat topics and talk about something that we talked about, before. But hey, it is what it is, and we'll just talk about it.
Right. Anything can kind of come up again because sometimes things take like it's important to like rehash and like work through. That's how my brain's constantly thinking about things like a similar topic on a daily basis that I'm like trying to overcome, whether it's make more money, figure out what that next step looks like, figure out how I grow my life. Like usually it's a common obstacle that you kind of have to sit on for 6 months, 9 months in order to overcome. Similar, like everyone's stuck on COVID right now, like that. We're all kind of working at this same goal. And it's like, you can't really stop talking about COVID, even though I think there's value in realizing that other life exists. So I do like when people will push us to say, yo, get over that. That's a good thing to say, hey, get over it. But at the same time, we're going to still talk about it every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's so crazy. Sometimes that we forget the basics in certain things. And it's actually like what ends up helping us like get through a lot of shit. It sounds very like micro, but like it's so crazy. Like I was going through middle school and I had like a difficulty with math, right? And I was like, man, like I can't, like algebra is just hard. Algebra 2, like how are you gonna throw this shit on me? And I'm like, how am I getting through this, right? And then like long story short, is a teacher ended up showing me 4th grade math again. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are you teaching me 4th grade math? This is bullshit. I already did this, blah, 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 right? And I started doing it. But what it was actually the basics of algebra that I actually need to learn again. And then like I went back to do algebra, and it was the easiest thing in the world.
Really?
Easiest thing. So like if you don't know algebra, go back to your fourth grade math.
That's actually interesting, and I didn't think about that concept in regards to math, but we always
Yeah.
do that when it comes to like sports, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you get on the basketball court for the first time, you start low. You
Yeah.
start right in front of the hoop, right on the edges of the hoop. You stay in those spaces. You take 10 to 20 shots there. You
Yeah.
slowly grow out. And anybody that's been trained well in basketball, you shouldn't just start on the 3-point line, even though that's what
Right.
I do. That's why I can't play basketball. I like that.
Right.
I live on the 3-point line.
Yeah. Steph
But
Curry,
I've
shoot.
but I've learned from my friends that are really good. They actually take like a second to do that. That's
Yeah.
probably what we should be doing, like with those mental calisthenics in our mind sometimes too.
Absolutely.
We try to jump right into it. Come on.
Absolutely. No, that's 100% true. And I was also thinking about this, actually, believe it or not, in relationships, because I'm a weird like overthinker and like forward thinker about something. And I'm like, man, when I get a girlfriend, I want this to happen. You know what I mean? And I want like our relationship
Okay.
to go this way. And so I was thinking about this, and I was like, oh, so I feel like there's certain times in a relationship where like, because I was thinking about this, obviously my past mistakes and how could I fix that. And I was
Sure.
like, there's might literally have to scale back a bit in a relationship to start more like, let's come back to the beginning, like how we used to be. Let's come back to baseline, because there's a certain point where sometimes the relationship go in a certain way where it's like, whoa, we're not even this, right? And like we're acting like this, but we are not this. So we need to come back to who we are. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, because
on a
sometimes
basic
you have
level.
to put the brakes on your expectations of where you want to be in a relationship and
Mm,
realize where you actually are, like what you're saying, right?
mm,
You
mm.
know, because that doesn't mean that it can't grow into that place that you hope it is. But
Yeah.
I always am surprised when I see people get engaged within like even like 6 months, right?
Yeah,
To
it's
knowing someone.
crazy. It's
Even though
crazy.
there has been people that get engaged within days.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like, why would you want to miss out on all the small fun steps of the
Yeah.
lead up to
Hmm.
what it is to get married, what it is to get engaged, what it is to have children, what it is to move in together? I'm always a bit confused about like, what's the rush? I get it
Yeah.
that there's a fear that time changes people's perspective. So if you have a girl that's just phenomenal, I get that you want to lock that down, but like have a bit more finesse than that and understand that
Yeah.
if the process is real or that this girl is real, like the process will be true to it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's totally true. And with that, I feel like the timing of people is different, because like and it's almost like uh, I don't know, call it what you want to call it, but when people like will like have like, say they found like the perfect girl, and they're like, wow, you are what I dreamed of, all this stuff and XYZ, beautiful, and like I have to lock it down right now. I have to have you this very second, and I'm gonna get engaged with you. And say she accepts and all this stuff, but it doesn't necessarily lead you to success, because you didn't take the time to learn the ins and outs, the intricacies of like the person, and the person, like all these different things about, and then like I said, like going through the process of like step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in those steps, like you learn a lot, you know, and then say you still, regardless, you may still love this person, but there's also like there's value in that time of like learning, and value in that time of spending time. This is our era of just dating, this is our era of being fiance, this is our era of marriage, rather than just
I
kind of skipping through things.
it seems like there's some fun in it. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
like to take my
This.
time in these things. I think it's good. I'm not one of those 7-year engagement people. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
No.
I I think if you've known your person for, man, longer than 5 years,
Yeah.
lock it down, buddy.
Yeah. I feel
Eh,
like four. I feel like
Three,
4 years is
almost
like.
three's like too long. It's like, what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if you like time of meeting a girl and like you like her, like I feel like you got like 4 years tops to marry her.
I would
Five
agree with
years.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 to 5 years. Like after 6, like there's a problem. There's a problem. You need to figure something out.
Right. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah. Anyway, man, let's talk about man stuff because sometimes this girl stuff makes me want to shoot myself. Because women are complicated, but they're great. But they're complicated. Let's talk about sports stuff. Our escape from women.
Okay.
So man, what's going on in the NFL world today, man? Freaking my cousins, man. The Bills versus the Steelers game happened on Sunday night. That was an interesting, good game, good defensive game. Freaking the Bills ended up coming out on top, but the AFC, man, AFC is stacked this year. They literally have, I think, the first, second, and like third most winningest teams, which is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Are I think 12-2, I believe. Steelers have one more loss, another loss, and then the Bills are like number 3, but they're tied with the Packers. I want to say 11-3 or something like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting year in the league. I've had a hard time tracking all of it. There's
Yeah,
Tuesday night games, Wednesday night games,
yeah.
and then there will be a Tuesday night game, and it says it's Thursday night football.
So stupid.
Wait, what is happening? Just forget about the whole branding. Forget about whatever
Yeah,
contract you're dealing with. It's
yeah.
Tuesday night football. Like,
It's not that serious.
stop
Just
it.
make a dump. Just make another graphic. Just you know how to do it. Don't even bullshit. Like come on.
I don't know what type of contract ties that in, but
Yeah,
trash that type of contract. Stop.
yeah. I think
Um,
I think
it-
because Thursday Night Football is an actual brand, like brand
it's
name.
no, that's exactly what's happening. Right.
Yeah,
Like Thursday night football is a brand, but come on, stop.
yeah. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid.
I mean, but I love watching this year of football. It's, as a Vikings fan, it's slightly devastating. We
Mhm.
had a kicker that just missed 4 field goals in one
Yeah,
game.
I heard about that. Yeah, what the
And
hell happened to that?
then the game before, so he missed an extra point and 3 field goals.
Uh-huh.
And the game before that, he missed 2 extra points and 2 field goals.
Jeez.
Come Monday, what happens is we cut our backup kicker.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't cut our starter.
Mm-hmm.
We cut our backup. And right now, how it works to be able to replace somebody in the NFL, if you get somebody off of like not the IR, but if you get somebody off of free agency right now, they
Uh-huh.
have to somehow, like, I think they have to test negative for 12 consecutive days of COVID.
Mm.
So we're stuck with this kicker that just missed 8 different opportunities
Jesus,
for
that's
points
horrific. Wow.
for at least one more week. So we'll
Wow.
see. This is difficult. I love to see your Pittsburgh Steelers do well. That's super
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, he did rape, like that happened. That's real. I'm gonna air that out on this show. But he has an interesting style of football.
Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger is fat, but it's okay. I think I think I think we have a solid team, but I feel like maybe we should test other quarterbacks pretty soon.
Does he
Because
look old?
he's starting to look a little like he's still got a good arm, but I feel like I mean, man, like I feel like we can't risk another injury to him again. Number one, number two is just like I feel like we need to start like getting our second QB
Get
groomed up.
prepared for the next deal.
Yeah, because we had an issue with him being injured just last year, and then so like and we didn't have a good season because of that.
He always looks
So
like his knees and hips are just sore. Even
yeah,
though he's still an agile guy, he makes his moves. He's just
yeah,
a Big Ben is the best name for this guy. It feels
yeah,
like
it
he's
really
ready to
is.
topple over, but he also is just a beast and he's tough to
Yeah,
bring down. But
yeah.
I haven't. It's hard to watch him play because it looks like it hurts. It looks
Yeah, it looks like he's
painful.
hurt. It looks like he's fat. It looks like one of those guys that just like showed up to your middle school that barely never worked out, but you looked at him like, why are you 7 foot? You know, like
He's
that's what Ben
so
Roethlisberger
good
looks
though.
like.
He's
You know,
so good. He's been so great for so long.
you know. I'm looking at the standings right now. Buffalo's doing well. Let's do the NFC. Oh yeah, Washington football team. Yeah, that's right. It was hilarious. I was looking at the comments. It's like football team going to the Super Bowl. Football team's going down. Football team's gonna win it all.
What's so funny about that to me
Yeah.
is they spent so much money on bringing on brand experts, bringing on design companies. There was many people for the last probably 10 years thinking
Like
about
guys.
this. Hey, just so you know, we have a racist name. We're going to have to deal with this. And they couldn't come to any conclusion. How would you have, I don't know who did it, like a McKinsey Consulting or maybe they even brought on some like really dope brand agency.
Yeah.
And they ended it with, I got something dope for you, man.
Yeah.
Washington football team.
But,
no mascot.
Yeah.
No name.
I feel like as ridiculous as it sounds, like I realize dude, I realize this, and this is crazy, but like when you gather people in a room, and like, okay, so basically, I think what happened was this: whoever the executive was, basically didn't make a decision, but they chose a bunch of people in a room to make a decision, but the executive didn't make the final decision. Because I realized it was when you get people in a room to make any kind of decision,
it's trash.
It looks like a Twitter battlefield in real life. It looks ridiculous. It can't come up. Like, dog, is this envelope white? I swear to God, is this envelope white? Ask 10 people. Oh, I think it's a cream beige color, and if the light hits it this way, and then someone goes, yes.
But can I raise my hand in this meeting?
Yeah.
Is it appropriate to say white?
Yeah. Is it
appropriate to say white? We're still good there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
I was just checking. In this meeting, I just wanted to know, white? Do we really?
White? Yeah.
Could we? I don't know.
And that's another 10 minutes. And that's another 10 minutes. And then they're going to go like, well, guys, technically, if we just say white, and then someone's going to go, well, historically, if someone looks at this perception and see this as white, they might feel offended. And then like, it's another 20 minutes. And then it just like, then at the end of the day, like no one made a decision. And the executive was like, hey, guys, screw it. Everybody get out of this room. We're calling the Washington football team. We'll name it next year. Everybody fuck off.
I love that premise. I didn't think of that premise before. My premise was it was some weird little techie design kid with like gauged earrings and one of those bull rings that everybody just revered. They're like, we're going to bring this design kid in. His name's Eddie. He's Eddie, the design guy.
Yeah.
Eddie, the design guy. He's been a part of the organization. Everybody loves Eddie, the design guy. And he works with Margaret. Margaret's so smart.
Right.
And these little bullshit Antifa designers don't even care about sports. Don't even care about, like, never even was in a sport team in high school.
No.
They thought it was so posh to be, and so like, so new.
So
Washington football team, clean.
Football team.
And somehow they were inspired by Kanye when they like trim the fat like
really?
That. I'm
they're
just saying.
inspired by Kanye.
I was like, dude, that seems like
it almost sounded right. That's why I said that's why.
Like, just strip everything down. What is this really about?
Yeah,
Washington.
And then even better, it's not even the right Washington. Like, it's like, is it Washington, West Washington or East Washington?
No, it's the nation's capital, Washington.
No, it's not even like what is that? That's what gets me. It's like it's not even like Washington D.C. Ah, boy.
And watch them fumble the real name. They're gonna do something crazy, I bet.
Oh yeah, They'll
It's
call it. They'll
it's
call it
gonna
like
be more racist than we could
it,
ever
dude, it's gonna
imagine.
be like the Washington fucking Black Logs or something, like the fucking Washington Blackies or something. Um, I can only imagine. What was I looking at? Washington. Oh yeah, I was gonna say. What is it? The FedEx Stadium. FedEx Stadium, right? Where's
Okay.
FedEx Stadium located? Is it actually Washington D.C. or is it like some city right next to it? That's actually not Washington D.C.
Yeah, let's see.
Nope, sure ain't. Of course not. It's in Maryland. It's in Landover, Maryland. Of course. So not only is it not even in fake Washington, it's not even.
How far from DC is this thing?
It's another city.
So I'm gonna get directions from
It's in
DC.
Landover, Maryland. It's not
Oh,
too far. It's like a
I
train
mean,
ride, I guess.
it's 11 miles. It's 25-minute drive.
Yeah, it's not too far. Obviously, who the fuck knows Landover football team, right? But but it's just like I don't know. It's just there's also like another full blown state called Washington, so that's what it makes me think.
I just love it how this is just such a good view in and a lens on what it looks like for humans to try to communicate.
Oh my god.
We can't figure it out.
Oh my god.
We
Yeah.
get so scared. We don't even want to talk. We don't even want to take a chance. They can't even just call them like the Washington Capitals because, the hockey team's already got it.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever you want to call, just give it a name. We're so
Yeah.
scared right now as
Yeah.
anybody who lives in the US to just decide to make a
Yeah.
choice.
Make a
We've
choice.
gotten in this weird crippling environment where our expectations of other people's expectations of ourselves are
Mm-hmm.
starting to make us freeze. We're
Yeah.
developing this paralysis
Mm-hmm.
where it's seeped into football. Football is the dumb sport. Football is
This
the
is real.
duh. Like that's what
Yeah.
football is about. It's about banging your head,
Mm-hmm.
playing a game, being kind of like it feels like you're a gladiator when you're playing football.
Yeah, football is like a man's sport. Like that and UFC are like very like fucking manly. Like
Anybody who wants to take on a masculine identity as if when masculinity is projected in this way, like I can't change the definition of masculinity. I think we might have even talked about this before. It's
yeah.
it's a brute force thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's um it's this arrogant competitiveness. It's
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going around the boulder. I'm gonna push the boulder.
Right.
That from what I understand, what I read in grade school, that's what like the whole like masculine identity. You could call it toxic masculinity. Sure, that doesn't bother me.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun to play into that, and that's what sports are an outlet of.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, sports like football. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean that a female can't play football, but she's
Mm-hmm.
taking out her masculinity when she's
Yeah.
playing that sport. Like she's getting that aggression,
Yeah.
and that nature out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
And that's
safe place for our scariness, like who we are as animals.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Because that's what sports are. Because you can't just run up on somebody and fucking truck them. You know, like
Yeah.
you got we get people that are like minded that know the rules to the game, play the game, get them in a field. You know, and then and let them within the rules of the game do whatever they want. And like I said, it is like a show of strength. It's a show of brute force. It's a show of like like fuck yeah as a man. It even is to women because like girls watch it and they're like fuck yeah, there's my team. Something camaraderie as well
Right.
to their
Because
city, their area.
it's the only place in society that like you can see your version, like so you go up against your competitor, right?
Yeah,
So it's is as if you're going up against a Trump or a Biden, but
yeah,
you can watch them get blindsided and laugh
right,
about it, and
right,
everybody thinks that's okay.
right,
The good thing about sports is that it doesn't matter.
right.
Like the athletes' lives matter, and we compensate
Athletes'
them.
lives matter.
We compensate them accordingly for the risk that they're taking, and they love to play this darn sport.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're taking out Trump or taking out Biden. You're just
Yeah.
taking out a competitor. We
Yeah.
have a huge competitive nature. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
so happens that a lot of that competitive like energy happens to be mainly in men and women. At
Yeah.
least as far as like that type of release where it's like I actually want to like punch you in the face.
Well, dude, even I think we all get to like clear the space and understand this because this is also very important. People playing sports in general, guys and women, like the numbers show for themselves. It's simple as this. Guys like to watch sports more, and then women actually like to watch guys sports more. It's really that simple because
There is a few people that are left out of that, right?
mm-hmm.
And so that's the issue I think what like society is trying to like correct on, but
Yeah.
they don't realize like there is these outliers that like there's females that are like, yo, I want to be in the game, and they could
Yeah.
absolutely compete on the highest
Yeah.
level in that game.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude,
Yeah.
let them in.
Yeah.
Let them in. I'm not the type of person that's going to block that. Like, dude,
No.
if you can compete and you want to ball. Let's go.
Of course, and even the people, everyone from every level agrees with you. They're like, yeah, even on the player end, like, yeah, if you're good enough, come play with us. But I think there's this idea, especially with NBA, for instance, where it's like, okay, we need to pay the WNBA players more. Oh, we need to do this more for the WNBA. But the people that are complaining probably don't go to the WNBA games because I don't know if you've seen any WNBA games. No one goes to that shit. No one watches it. No one knows who any players are. And like,
Dude, check yourself. Minnesota
yeah.
Lynx are the greatest WNBA team of all time. Minnesota Lynx, baby.
But not the LA Sparks, bro. Not the LA Sparks. The
Dude, LA Sparks are trash, bro.
Bro.
Lynx.
I see. This is the little I know about WNBA because the only thought I came to mind was like Lisa Leslie is gonna whoop your guys' ass, and then Lisa Leslie's like is retired, gone, done.
Maya Moore is nation's sweetheart, dude. I had a crush on Maya Moore since college. I actually lived in the same apartment building with her. Maya Moore never messed with me. Maya Moore wouldn't even talk to me. We lived in the same apartment building.
Okay.
Simone Augustus loved me, bro.
Oh.
Me and Simone Augustus, we clap it up. She's a great girl, baller. Okay. But she would play, she kind of played like a tougher role than Amaya Moore. Amaya Moore got to do the whole like nation sweetheart. She's putting up the points. But Simone Augustus was more like a Dennis Rodman out there. Just wild. Okay. Getting in the paint, doing the dirty work. That's who's actually, that's who was winning the championships.
Right. Okay. I mean, hey, listen, I think WNBA is great. I think the girls who played are great. But I think I think the sport is great because in general everything about it is great. I just think that here I'm getting ready to start saying it like I watch WNBA, but the people that complain about it should support the sport more. Complain about the disparity.
Completely agree with you. It only comes down to eyeballs. Now, when people want to shift the eyeballs, give it a go. Like make it happen. When people shift the eyeballs, then the numbers count up, and the advertisers say, "Okay, I get to pay more for that advertising space than I did before because more eyeballs are hitting it." As simple as that. It's just a numbers game. Because it is interesting though, where we get into society, because it doesn't mean that sport is less appealing. There's actually a lot of appeal in that sport, but it's going to be a little bit different of a game than what you're used to in the NBA. And that's okay. It's fun to see different styles. It's
dude,
I don't know.
I particularly love women's flyweight MMA. Why? Because it's so technical. I
hate women's MMA.
Really?
It's weird to watch these girls knock each other's lights out, bro. I don't know if that makes me sexist, but it's weird to watch girls knock each other out. I don't really like
it. No, like it is weird to watch girls knock each other out, but I do think the women's light, like flyweight, strawweight, the ones that are very technical, like I'm talking about the 115 pounders and the 125 pounders. Anything above that, it's we'll get into that in a second. But those are girls that are just like they cannot fight from brute strength. They're literally going like, what did the coach tell you? And they're talking like every move is like as clinical as the next. Like so
You can come
when
down
you
here.
go,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
you can take the charger. Yeah. She's taking my charger. No, I
Oh
think you're
yeah,
absolutely right. It's women's MMA. It's a wild sport.
yeah. It's just
It's
when you get bigger, then you see like the girls knocking each other out and shit. And I get that can be a little slightly off putting because it's like I don't know, there's like something
and
off about it.
and it's like I think boxing MMA in general is off putting. When
Yeah,
Jake Paul knocked Nate Robinson out and everybody was
yeah,
cheering, I liked the sport, and that was the reason that we bought the pay-per-view, and I had my whole
yeah.
family watching it.
Right.
But I still wanted to make sure that Nate Robinson didn't die.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
Right.
I'm not able to like just cheer immediately. I giggled because of the
Right.
way he bounced off the thing. But I was hoping
Right.
that giggle wasn't something that I was going to regret for the rest of my life.
Right.
Of being like, wait, I just
Right.
giggled when someone died. Like, dude, LG, you giggled when someone died.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it felt
exactly.
like that. And so that's what's weird with those sports. I don't know, and it's probably something I have to get over, but it's just cringier to be like, dude, these women are whooping each other's ass.
Dude, it's real. Amanda Nunes, the girl that just Amanda Nunes and like Holly Holm, the girl that Holly Holm was the first girl that kicked the fuck out of Ronda Rousey, and that was amusing. Like that fight is probably what got me really excited for MMA in the future, long term. Because I did not like Ronda Rousey. To see her get fucking kicked, and I mean kicked, like the shin to the fucking, like she was walking away, like the fucking face, and it just like, oh, it was so brutal.
That's what's so weird about all these sports is the action, or the not action sports, but these martial arts, these what's boxing called, right? It's just these combat sports. Sorry.
Combat's mixed martial arts in general. Yeah.
You're only great until you're not. And
oh yeah,
when you're not, you become a meme. It's clunk.
oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
And everybody's wondering like, hey, is he breathing? Is she breathing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
What a weird, like, it's so primal.
It's total primal.
And don't get me wrong, like, I love the primalness of football, but like I get into the sport like MMA and I go, too primal. So when I see people cringe at football, I totally get it, because there's a spectrum of primal that you're comfortable with. And MMA toes the line of what I'm comfortable with. So if football toes the line with you, I have no problem with your decision to say like football's too primal. I get it. It's like a sliding stake in the sand. But like when they're like grinding each other's face up against the fence in MMA, it's like, I can't look.
Yeah. I did wrestling in high school, so like this little version of me where like it totally accepts it. But I think like right past MMA, like fixed mixed martial arts is where I cannot continue. Because like for instance, like there's a new version of
fixed martial. What is that?
Like, fixed martial arts is what you see like MMA, UFC. Like it's in a like
it's
cage. There's rules to the game. It's in a cage. You're doing that. What I can't look at this new series called Bare Knuckle Boxing, and that's like I can't watch it because like they take the gloves off. There's no gloves, and they're just fighting by bare knuckles. That's just too insane. There's too much blood, too much shit, and it's really unnecessary. You're literally everyone's hurting their actual hands for basically no reason. You know what I mean? You're not getting paid as much. It's not as technical. You're just fighting to literally hurt them rather than having like a show like any one of your like technical skills, right?
Yeah.
And then there's like there's one championship where like which is also MMA, but the difference is there's certain different rules. For instance, like you can knee someone when their other person is on the ground, which is illegal in UFC, but it's legal in one MMA, which is a different promotion. So say you punch someone, their hands on the ground, they're on the ground. You can literally run up to them and knee the fuck out of their face. like that.
That's where I struggle with the MMA is when they dribble the head.
Yeah.
They just dribble it.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. There is an element of me that says, dribble his fucking head. Like there's elements of me like, fucking dribble that
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
But I don't know him, and I don't even know the guy who's dribbling him. For
Right.
some reason, there's a weird part of the brain that says dribble him, but then immediately my brain goes back and says, like, God's not gonna be cool with that. Like,
Yeah.
let's chill. Let's chill.
Yeah. But and there is. Go ahead.
Well, what do you think about this upcoming match against Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather?
I think that Floyd Mayweather thought that he was actually fighting his younger brother Jake, number one, because Logan is actually huge, number two.
Who do you think's a better boxer, though? You think Logan's a better boxer than Jake?
I never seen Logan Paul box, have I? Like I feel like he did put out a fight at some point.
No, he boxed. He's boxed KSI.
Yeah, he did put out that fight. Yeah, I didn't.
But
really
it's two
watch
YouTubers.
It.
We have no idea.
Yeah,
this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even with Jake Paul, we don't know who Jake Paul is yet. Right. He knocked out Nate Robinson, who is a phenomenal professional athlete.
But he's a basketball player.
But you still don't know like who Nate Robinson is in that ring. I personally am like, yo, like Jake and Logan both look good in the ring. They they have the right physique. It seems like their steps are accurate.
Right.
This is coming from the most novice, like doesn't know anything about boxing person. I go, that looks real. But did you watch the last fight? Did you watch Tyson and Roy Jones?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Dude,
see it yet.
So Tyson gets in the ring after you see Jake Paul knock everybody out in the memes and everyone's saying Jake Paul like just knocked this motherfucker out. Then you see Tyson get in the ring at how old he was and the way he was shifting, dude. Yeah, it felt like a mutant was in the ring. You went, oh, that's the greatest. Boxer. That's what the greatest of all time. Even at his old age, you were like, what is going on? Like this guy, it was scary. Even how old he was. Like Roy Jones didn't look great, but Tyson looks scary still.
Right.
And so it's gonna be interesting. I think that Floyd Mayweather obviously isn't like a knockout artist. At least in the later parts of his career, he did have that. In earlier parts, he's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
Logan, have tons of respect for the guy, and I love the marketing that him and his brother are doing right now. They're taking a huge new leap in their career, and they're probably in their finances doing this. Yeah, it's gonna be weird to watch. And then I think if Jake fights Conor McGregor, if Conor McGregor actually would take that fight, dude, lights out.
He called his wife a 4. He called Jake Paul, the younger brother. Yeah, Jake Paul called Conor McGregor's wife a 4. That's crazy. That's like it's crazy. But I think to your point, exactly what you said, like the transition from like the Jake Paul fight to the Floyd Mayweather or to the Mike Tyson fight, the difference between like a non-boxer versus a boxer, right? The reason why Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather is a little bit appealing is because Logan Paul is just so much heavier than Floyd Mayweather naturally. So it's a difference in skill versus weight. And like a novice heavier versus the lighter, obviously the best of all time.
Well, and he's even referenced it as a David versus Goliath, as him being Goliath and Floyd being David.
Because he's really small.
But with the funny element involved, which is everybody actually knows that Mayweather is Goliath.
Right. So yeah, but I see the technical because David has the tools.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mayweather's
Goliath
actually
is like the dumb
both.
giant.
He's like David's fighting this just big dumb white idiot YouTuber.
Giant. Yeah. Yeah.
Saying,
so
let's make some money.
Right, and to be frank, I give I'm not gonna give him my money, but I give him props, but to do that because who do I think is gonna win? Great question. I realize with fights, dude, I literally stopped betting. I don't bet in general, but I stopped even like mentally betting because you fucking never know. And back to your point about I was gonna say about how fighters. How they're on the mantle and then they'll get knocked down by one knockout. Dude, my favorite fighter of all time, Anderson Silva. That's exactly what happened to him. Greatest of all time in MMA coming up when I was watching him. For years, just dominant, just whooping everyone's ass. Not even funny. He looked like Stylebender. Now
Stylebender though with the back kick or whatever you call that thing where he spins and hits you in the jaw.
Yeah, it's insane. Stylebender now was Anderson Silva a few years ago. Like Stylebender, Anderson Silva was Stylebender is Anderson Silva like a long time ago. Like Anderson Silva was that guy. And one day he fucked around and he almost lost to Chael Sonnen. Like, I mean, it was down to the wire. And then he ends up triangling him and then winning the second fight. So he has this like limp on his, he has like, some ego. And don't get me wrong, Anderson Silva is like really, truly the best of all time. Like, so he kind of has reason to do it.
So this is how novice I am with caring. I can't say that I completely care, but I actually like the whole YouTube version of this boxing. With MMA, so was Anderson Silva, is he a grappler or was he one of those guys that, what's the contact people?
So he was a kickboxer and a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, I believe.
So jiu-jitsu is the, like, you grapple. You're down on the ground. You're choking people out.
Basically, yeah.
So that's Khabib. So Khabib is like the greatest grappler ever, right?
Let's call it this because let's break it down in simple terms. Wrestling is more like Khabib is like a grappler wrestler, and then Anderson Silva was like a BJJ artist. So basically the difference is a wrestler grappler likes to be on top and likes to control you from on top, basically. And a Brazilian jiu-jitsu artist, like, they like to be on their side, on their back. They like to do more submissions and then.
So they're like, so jiu-jitsu is a power bottom.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then they want to do all submissions.
Whenever they get on the floor, I'm just not interested. Boxing is so much more appealing to me than MMA, not just because of the brutality, but the whole like on the floor, like when they're sweating and like pushing each other's chins. There's nothing exciting about that. Like, I'm like, you should pay me to watch this. This is bizarre.
Yeah. And I get it, but I feel like you gotta be a little bit in the know, to know what they're doing. Because like that's the same thing with like when a safety happens in football. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I mean? Like why did he get tackled in the backfield? Like, like there's like the little things that happen, and you're just like, what? Like, and I feel like
I get it when he's like, he's in an arm bar, and then he like switches it over, and now he has his leg and the head, and everyone's so excited. I get that like a switch happened that was very difficult to do, where people go, hey, like if you knew what it was like to be in that hold and to get out of it by like a pro athlete, by the best in his league, if you knew the experience from that to this, he's amazing.
Yeah.
I understand that there's a dynamic that I don't get. However, I'm so uninterested in knowing what it's like to be like choked out by a dude and then get on his back and just penetrate him like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it, and there's a lot to MMA, and that's what makes the sport so like complex. There's so much to it. And I understand that. But I think like I just think it's important, and I think it's gonna happen. Hopefully, it doesn't happen to these athletes too. That like the Jake Paul. I mean, if it does, it does. It doesn't really matter. But they get knocked off their rocker. But that's the thing about that's what made Floyd Mayweather so appealing. And that's what makes the fights of Jake Paul and Logan Paul so appealing now, is because people want them to get knocked the fuck out and knocked off their rocker.
And they know that.
That.
These guys are so smart where they say, hey, I am one of the most hated people on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself in a position that could actually hurt me.
Yeah.
For my monetary gain.
Yeah.
It's a primal way to make money, but the amount of money they're making, I don't think I would take that risk in order to have like a slur for the rest of my life or CTE, like all these other factors. Like if you listen to the way that, Mike Tyson talks now, it's like, is it worth it? Maybe. I don't know. Like, if you've made $500 million in your life, possibly. But these guys are putting it on the line.
Yeah, they're definitely putting it on the line. It's quite a bit. yeah, man. So freaking, it's a lot. But what's going on? What's going on in the world, man? Like what's happening? Like before we get to our topics of like what's happening with Smart and Mild, like what's smart for you and what's mild for us. Like what's going down on like the universe this week? You know, let's see. I'm thinking.
Let me go to the bathroom real quick. Let me go to the
Yeah,
bathroom real
yeah,
quick.
yeah. No problem. Yeah, perfect.
All right, talk to me.
All right, cool. I kind of, to be frank, I kind of don't want to talk about COVID this time because we're going to talk about COVID 1,000 other times, and we always
Let's not
talk
talk
about
about
COVID.
that.
Yeah, we can just move forward. But I was thinking, I was talking about something, with anything happening in LA, California, and not too other than COVID bullshit.
It can
It
be
hasn't.
ancillary to it.
Excuse me.
It can be like ancillary to COVID, like it can be a factor of it. But like,
Oh, okay.
oh, COVID's difficult. Wow, people hate it. No.
Yeah. But it hasn't been too much going on. Like the NBA season starting again. Do you have a team in NBA at all?
Well,
Are
I
you
mean,
a
I'm a T-Wolves fan,
Minnesota
true and true all the
T-Wolves
way.
fan?
But
Yeah.
and it's been difficult because when I was Garnett, like grew up watching him, take us to the
Yeah.
playoffs, but not be able to take it past. I
Mhm.
was actually happy to see him go to Boston.
Right.
Most Minnesota fans said, dude, go get your rings, like make this a legacy, do your thing.
Mhm.
You're one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Mhm.
We get it that you have to get a ring to make it right. It's
Right.
not happening here.
Right.
So then, we watched like Ricky Rubio come to town. He's like coming back to town now. But when we finally had like Wiggins, Levine, Towns,
Mhm.
it felt real again. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, dude, we have a real squad.
Mhm. Was that the
They're
same time you
young.
guys had was that the same time you guys had Rose too?
Well, so then we shipped Rose. We shipped
Right.
Levine. We
Right.
bring in Rose, and then we also bring in Butler.
Right.
And if you're playing 2K, we had a sick team.
Mhm.
Unbelievable. Like Butler's a baller. We ended up keeping Wiggins and Towns for Butler to leave, and Butler leaves the team saying these guys are just too immature to be able to win a championship.
Mhm.
And I felt probably the same way. You kind of had to take his word for it.
Yeah.
I wish that we shipped the young boys for Butler because and then now you see him. He's
Yeah.
in Miami, like
He
leading the
probably
charge
did.
deep.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like he lied in that form because he fuck around and almost damn near won.
Right. So I get to Monday morning quarterback this a little bit, but at the same time, I was watching that going, Butler seems like a baller. He's taken Chicago deep several times.
Yeah.
Our coach Thibodeau was bringing a lot of his Chicago boys up to be able to
Yeah.
lead this charge with a bunch of young guys. And it just hasn't worked in Minnesota for so long. I like
Yeah.
watching the Lakers. I love what that squad's doing. Being in LA,
I
it's
mean,
very
we're
easy.
kind of like what did you say? What word did you just use earlier? Like like you said, it's basically like subsequent to coronavirus. What word did you just use? Anically?
What was I saying? Oh, ancillary.
Ancillary. Lakers are like I don't know, maybe it's worse. I don't know. Ancillary. So they're from Minnesota.
Absolutely. I mean, so
So
I have no problem saying that I'm a Lakers fan because
yeah,
the
our
land of
success is your
10,000
success.
lakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm supporting a Minnesota team when I'm supporting the Lakers for sure.
Yeah, yeah. When I was younger, I didn't quite understand, and I was like, where in the fuck does the Laker? What the fuck is a Laker? And I was like, because I'm thinking
You're
in
like in
LA.
bed one night being like a Laker.
Yeah, no, seriously.
No,
I was like, I was thinking about this for months, like probably even years. I was like, what the fuck is a Laker? Because like, there's no lakes here.
And it's pre-Google. So then you
Yeah,
have to
pre
ask
Google,
one of your idiot friends on the playground, and they're
and
like,
they didn't tell me. They didn't know. They didn't know
oh,
shit.
good point. Good point, Cameron. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're like, wow, you ask good questions. I was like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Dude, I saw Bitcoin just hit $20,000. What does that even mean? And are you invested in Bitcoin?
I was invested into it until this morning.
Mm,
Then I ended up dropping everything once it hit a little
mm,
over 20. So
mm.
it went up like 10% today. I got out of it
Wow.
when it was up about 7.
Mm,
At the same time, Tesla went down 3. So I took all my Bitcoin out
mm.
and ended up putting into Tesla after it had dropped.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that Tesla now readjusts and I can close some of the gap that I lost on Bitcoin. But I kept on telling myself, like, once Bitcoin went north of 20, I was going to get out, make a little bit of cash, drop. And then luckily Tesla dropped at the same exact time. So
Right.
those shifts, I hope it plays in my advantage. I'm watching those stocks. I'm watching Bitcoin all the time.
Mm,
I actually got a little bit more love from the money that I had put in because I was playing Litecoin instead of Bitcoin
mm,
last night.
mm.
And Litecoin had a crazy dip last night. So I ended up getting my money in like before the huge pop this morning.
Interesting. So, do you feel because if you're out of Bitcoin altogether, do you feel like you're missing out on some type of like completely different currency that you want to be a part of? Because I don't have any money in Bitcoin, but I feel like
No,
I kind of missed out a lot. Like, and I don't have
well,
$20,000, so
yeah. So I don't have a lot of money playing the market at all.
mm-hmm,
But I
mm-hmm.
still have like $700 in Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum.
Yeah,
But I play around with like $5,000 just up and down in the market when it can grow.
yeah.
What ended up happening for me, honest truth, I'd put like $400 in the market in college, and
Mm,
I had put it in Facebook, Tesla, and Netflix
mm,
in college. I forgot my passcode to trade E-Trade.
mm.
I started playing around a little bit with Robinhood. This year, I was like, hey, I want to check if I had any of my E-Trade stuff. That $400 turned into $2,500.
Wow,
And then
nice,
in this last year, I've been able to take that 2,500 and turn it in to like almost $6,000 because the
nice,
market's
nice.
been really, really weird this year. It's been
Yeah,
bizarre.
right.
Uh, so luckily, I was able to find a nest egg that had nothing to do with like a realistic money to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do play with it daily.
Yeah, that's awesome because you have like a stock market money, and that makes a lot of sense. I get to do
Yeah.
that because I have like I don't have $20,000, but I have an extra $500 that I can throw in there and
Hmm.
start messing around with it because I feel like I've been like missing the whole party over there in this whole stock market game, and I feel like I
Yeah.
want to talk more with you anyway, so I get to like get in the game.
No, I definitely suggest like if you have $100, $50, $5,000, $25,000, get
Mhm.
in, start to just figure it out. We have to be aware this thing should drop at any point.
That's my
The,
biggest thing
the
because I have
market doesn't
savings.
make any sense right now.
No, because
It's gone
I've been
up.
waiting for it. I've been waiting for everything to drop. That's what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. There's a little bit of money to be made. Just if you have an extra honestly like $150, just put it in
Yeah,
for you can start to be aware of what's
yeah,
going on.
Yeah.
But you have to act opposite of what the market's doing. So when Tesla dips 2.5%, put that money in Tesla.
Put that money in, yeah.
When it goes up, pull it out. You're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna always win. You're gonna miss every once in a while. But
Yeah.
go on Robinhood because it's commission free,
Yeah.
or it's not commission free. Whatever.
It's like fee free or whatever.
It's transaction free or whatever, so you
Yeah.
can go in and out. You
Right.
will get flagged every once in a while. So I'm flagged right now for day trading, which you can't do. But it
Oh,
takes a few different shifts in order to make it happen.
okay. Got it. Got it.
There's way too many people like myself right now that are watching Dave Portnoy, who does like this Davey day trader stuff.
Mm.
The market's gonna crash like crazy. We're gonna
Yeah,
lose.
because you can't day trade.
We're gonna have to lose like 30% off the market because there's too many people that are like me and they're playing this stock market like it's gambling.
Yeah,
It's
because I mean
kind of
it's
fun though.
right. And like if I put in $150, I'm like might as well just play around with it, around. So see where that goes. 'Cause I want to definitely get to learn more. Definitely get to like get more invested. I'm gonna start pulling up to the next topic because to be frank, I had a weird stomach thing going down right now, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to exit soon. So
Exit soon.
no, yeah. So let's talk about something smart, man. What's going on with the smart topics today? Did you take a look at the smart topic at all, by chance?
No, I didn't. I was driving.
Oh yeah, no worries. So I was thinking, which one was it? Oh, stimulus check package. Okay, so stimulus check package. So like, I kind of briefly looked up on Twitter, and like this is something I've been thinking about lately because of all that's happening right now. Um, 2000. I feel like 2008 just happened all over again because there's a lot of money that went to like businesses. A lot of corporations end up swallowing up small business loans, grants they're supposed to be giving to small businesses that are supposed to be dealing with this situation. And I mean, I feel personally like I don't me personally necessarily like I'm decent. I'm good. This is not me coming from a point of like need. I'm coming from a point of like thinking of like pretty much everyone else, the people that really do need this, and people need some serious stimulus checks right now, and more so, people need like real cash because they're not getting help from the government. Some people may not have unemployment, so they're really getting screwed, hit hard.
Sure.
And having all these problems. I didn't get unemployment for like 6 months before I actually got it, which was like crazy. And I was like, dude, I got fired. Like, give me my money. And then, but the thing was just backed up. But there's always this government pulls slow down this that, like the House approved it, but the Senate didn't approve it, and this happened, but that didn't happen. And I just feel bad, man. I feel like it all when it comes down to like giving, basically a less fortunate people something, there's always like this hand that's being pulled back. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like, I don't think we got it, But anytime it's like something, a war or giving to corporations because giving to Bank of America because they're gonna go out of business or some bullshit. They're like, all right,
Just
we
go
got
wild on it. Yeah.
got you, homie. So it's kind of it's pretty crazy. It's actually pretty unfortunate that they haven't done anything about it yet. So
The stimulus check is a difficult thought. I am one of those people where I wish that we didn't lock down as hard as we have. There's elements of what I think is inevitability in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the best way that we could potentially have saved people is not stopping outdoor dining in LA.
Yeah, that's just come on.
But however, if you're going to lock down everything, even if like the president does, I don't think the president should have control of locking down the country.
No,
that's not something that I think that they should do at all.
mm-hmm.
I love that it's state-based and county-based and city-based. The smaller, the better when it comes to that. At the same time, if these are factors that are happening, regardless of something that you think it's appropriate or not,
mm-hmm.
we're playing this game of chicken, right? So
Yeah.
more progressive mayors, governors, and different like county leaders, they're saying we need to lock it all down. And
Yeah.
then we have a Republican top of the country saying we have to open up.
Yeah.
The whole country's stuck in this game of chicken
Yeah.
of these people saying open and close. If the reality is everything is closed,
Right.
and so I get that the top of the government's trying to oppose that by saying, if you don't open, we're not going to give you a stimulus check. Like, it's not going to happen. Stop asking for us.
Yeah.
The stimulus check, it has to happen. Like,
yeah, it has to happen.
There's enough fear that's been provoked to allow majority of our society to say, like, we're supposed to chill on this virus.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean I necessarily agree with all that. I think we should be primarily open.
Yeah.
But because we're shut down, there's not enough money in these places.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been able to deal with the real financial fallout.
We haven't even like
winter is coming if you're a Lord of the Rings fan.
Or yeah, dude, we haven't even opened that can of shit yet, which is crazy.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, like, this is the shitstorm's actually coming.
Yeah, I feel like
it's not here yet.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things where like you've been taught, like, I don't know, like it feels like you've been tossing a bunch of like trash to the side, you know, and then like you put it all in your room that you have, like you put all the trash in your room, and then you're like, wow, I have to clean that shit up.
That's exactly what we're dealing with.
Yeah, you're like, I gotta clean that up to go to sleep. Because right now I'm sleeping outside, and this is a problem. And you're like, wow. So it's like, which is crazy that we haven't even opened up the can of worms yet.
I never got my first stimulus check though. Really? My $1,200. I never got it.
Mine was mailed to.
They can't find me.
Yeah, mine was mailed to my.
And I'm telling them I'm here.
Yeah, so I don't know what that was all about. Oh, it's on your IRS taxes. Your IRS tax. Go on your IRS account. You have to change your address on there.
They just can't find me. It's bizarre.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So, I mean, I just feel like, you know, people need it, and because, like I said, we haven't even opened that can of worms yet. It's kind of been briefly mentioned, like, oh, people are losing their apartments. Oh, people are, you know, rent, you know, this or that, or, you know, people get kicked out of the house. But it hasn't even gone up, like, it hasn't even opened up the thing where it's just like, oh yeah, like fucking 40% of people are getting kicked out of their apartments. And then there's actually going to be like, you know, there's going to be like a fuckload of more homelessness now because of what just happened.
Well, there's something of like 40,000 restaurants in Los Angeles County.
Yeah.
40,000. And they're predicting that only half reopen.
That's such a shame.
Now times that by the 20 employees are 100 employees that are at each one of those. It's crazy. On top of
that, because of their losses, they have to cut employees too. That even the restaurants they do reopen, they're like, hey man, 100%. We're only gonna hire like 3 people that are gonna work here for like every week, and you guys are gonna work double shifts, triple shifts, you know, all this shit.
It's gonna be bizarre. It's not over. The financial and economic elements of this virus have yet to hit us for sure.
But what's crazy and what's interesting though, and this is something we might I think we can go into for another 40 minutes. We'll talk a little bit more about this another time. Is money is going up, bro. People are getting richer. People are getting rich. There's a selection of people that are getting richer and a selection of people that are basically staying the same, essentially getting poorer.
If you've just put your money in the stock market during COVID, dude, it's going up.
Yeah, like
you can make 30% if you just kind of are a little mindful of what's happening.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, that's really interesting. And I feel like, you know, I'm kind of like, me personally, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, if you're gonna unleash now, because the right now the following of what's going to happen now is there's going to be a big separation. I feel like, and so I feel like if you're going to get on top of something, like we got to get on top of it right now because I'm not really interested. I'm not really interested in the next wave. You know what I mean? Or like wondering when the next up time is going to come around. Like you don't want something you don't want to think about. But we'll talk about that like another time because that's a whole fucking topic we can get into, how people are getting richer and poorer and all that stuff. But anyway, so let's talk about something mild real quick. I shot you. Let's see. This is something. Oh, so Twitch. See, speaking of something that we're also probably going to stream on next, Twitch. Yep. So the reason why I wanted to talk to you about this is because there's this whole, like, I was watching a video about this. Check out the actual title. I'm not sure, but it's like a channel called Wisecrack, and the video came out just recently, a couple days ago, about censorship, and basically they're talking about how censorship came from the government level to not talk bad about the government with people that were like, because they didn't want people to uprise and take away their power. Then it came down to the government saying you can't say this about religion. Then it came down to the government saying this about, we want the society to be this way, so that's why we create censorship in TV, right? You can't say curse words. You can't have a woman in bed with a man, or then a woman kissing a black man, or whatever. The censorship that at the government level trickles down, and now it's censorship of companies, big corporations.
Yeah, and
banning like the very like in the corporations that want people to abide by their way of culture, where they see things.
Right.
And Amazon owns Twitch, so it's basically another version of the big corporation.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. They bought it a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, and so it's like just another way of, like, say Facebook or Twitter saying something. You can't say this, can't say that.
Sure.
So the backlash was like, okay, yeah, you can't say virgin or incel, but you can still say like racial words. And that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. I don't want to get into it. But I think the big thing is we're having these corporations telling us what we can and cannot say. And that is a big problem because, the argument is, okay, well, don't use that. You don't have to use that a social account, or you don't have to use that platform. You don't have to use that. But because of the monopolization of these platforms that these companies own, there's only a few companies you're talking about. You're really only talking about Facebook, Amazon, and Google, the same companies that run basically the internet. Amazon Web Services controls like half the internet. I don't know if people know that. Like Google's cloud services, basically what that basically is websites run on that platform to work. And if Google says or Amazon says something that you cannot do, that's like that's a lot of internet power.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
So we're coming to this time where like literally these corporations are controlling the internet, and like they're controlling what people say. They're controlling what things are happening.
Yeah.
And with the transition of so many more people moving to internet for work and for things like this, because like, what if this ends up being profitable for us? This excuse me, this will end up being our version of our work, right?
100%.
So if you start censoring things that we do and say on this talk, that's a big problem for us, and many other creators and so on.
Well, and censorship is interesting because it doesn't let people work through the problem.
No.
Because sometimes censorship is just presenting the question of like, hey, like the simple like censorship that always happens is like, is this racist?
Yeah.
And usually when you say, is this racist? It's fucking racist.
Yeah.
But presenting a question isn't a problem. It's to work through it.
Yeah.
And because you can never understand intent.
Mm-hmm.
And whether intent is malicious, whether intent is naive.
Yeah.
We love to always jump to the conclusion that intent is malicious. We love that. It's our favorite thing.
Yeah.
However, sometimes intent is just naive. It's like,
Yeah.
if I say that someone is from New York, people immediately start to build this expectation of like, who would live in New York? And I'm presuming that you're expecting in your brain that you're thinking about someone from New York City. You might not be understanding that I'm asking you a question of like, who lives in New York State?
Yeah, Long Island, or someone from Buffalo.
So that's where intent gets really goofy in a lot of these times, where censorship loves to try to predict intent when we have no idea. We don't know.
No idea. Because like think about it. If you ban the word virgin, and I'm literally like, they think the intent is I'm calling someone a virgin, like as an insult. What if I'm literally on like Twitch, that I'm just talking about me being a virgin?
Is that a real concept?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, is it a concept that they would ban the word virgin?
No, they did. That's
on Twitch.
On Twitch, they banned the word of the use a simp, incel, and virgin. That's the news story. So I'm like, excuse me. So what if I'm talking about like, hey, I'm literally on Twitch, like we're playing a game. I'm like, hey guys, blah 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 blah. I'm a virgin. That's a problem.
Right. Like, hey, welcome to Mild. Like Hot Mild, like our Smart and Mild. We're virgins at this. Like, give us a chance. We're gonna work through it.
Like, are you serious?
But what's the problem with being a virgin?
No, there's zero problem with being a virgin.
So why would you even censor a word like that?
It's so ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. They're jumping to the conclusion. They're jumping they're over so many things and so many reasons.
So on Twitch right now, this would be canceled?
Based on what the news story says, yeah. The news story says about Twitch. This Twitch came out and said.
I mean, I understand that language changes quickly and that words are only sounds that come out of our mouth. So maybe on Twitch, there's such a community there. The word virgin means something different to them than it does to us. Potentially.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a super like prejudiced term that I don't even know about.
Right. Because they're gaming community. They're gamers, right? So they're like, oh, you fucking virgin. That's what they're thinking that they're saying. But like, but it's like, first of all, that's damn near a nice insult. It's not even that bad of an insult. That's very low on the level of insults that you.
Because that means like, hey, like you're a young buck, like you're new to this.
Yeah.
Obviously, like this, you're a first timer.
Yeah.
It's just a very simple way to say,
yeah.
Oh, this is your first time trying this.
Yeah. There's no. I can't even I'm trying to figure out like what the people were thinking, and like I said, this is one of those things where like these companies think that they're right and they think that they have the power to control, which is so wrong. I was watching, my dad was watching, he likes to watch the news, which drives me up the wall, but sometimes I'll come downstairs and I'll see something that he's watching, and it kind of, that's a lot of people watch the news, so it is important that you kind of like see what other people see, I think, in a way.
Sure.
But so basically it was the CEO, not Mark Zuckerberg, but the lady that he promoted as CEO, Sarah Sandberg, Cheryl Sandberg, whatever.
Yeah, Cheryl.
And it was amazing to me that she was just like, to things like this, like, because the interviewer asked her, like, what do you say about people saying stuff about women and whatever and all this other stuff. And then she was like, we need to teach them how to engage in conversation and do this and do that. And I was like, okay, what do you think that the person who hates Facebook thinks about when you tell them that you need to teach me? Like, imagine I hate you and then you tell me I need to teach you how to engage in conversation, how to do this. And by the way, I'm going to censor you if you're not right. I'm going to censor you if you don't say this way. And I don't like the way when you say this. And I'm going to ban your community. And I'm going to go out here telling you to go fuck yourself if you don't like it.
Right.
I think it's really amazing but think about the level of like ego of like the person who's saying it, thinking that like I am right when I say this. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've gotten to that point in society where we've forgotten to think that there's 1,000 different versions of this world.
Yeah.
So many people want to think about what it is to be American and they only think about their own identity, or they feel like the exclusion of their identity in what it is to be American.
Yeah.
When neither are true.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as the exclusion of your identity if you are an American. You know, it's like you got a green card. Stop thinking you're excluded from this. At the same time, if you're third, fifth, seventh, 10th generation American and you think you can exclude someone's identity from being an American, it's like you can't do that. So
you can't do that.
So really what as far as being kind of abstract to what you're thinking about, like Sheryl Sandberg there, for us not to understand that other people are thinking differently than us is such a bizarre idea. And then to think that like we have it more grasped than others. Mark Zuckerberg, like, granted, dude's a genius, but he hit at the right time. Yeah. And he probably, once he hit, he was a grinder, right? He made it happen. But there's so much chance, luck, happenstance. There's work ethic involved. For us to just allow people to shape and scope everyone else's perceptions of what's right and wrong based on what kind of computer program you made. That doesn't mean that you have a better understanding of morality, a better understanding of judgment, a better understanding of like what this society needs. Stop it. Like you
coming from a person who like you basically created this community because you don't know how to communicate, and you're trying to tell people on how and which they should communicate.
Thank you. Absolutely. That was the most concise version of how bizarre this whole thing has become.
Yeah.
That I can't talk to girls. I don't know what they want. I have no idea what to do. I create this thing that lets me be a little bit disconnected, but feel connected. Now I know how the world's supposed to work.
No.
wait.
Hell no. You know, fucking, I've sold shit to so many different types of people. It's not even funny. I don't know shit about people, and I met thousands, maybe even millions of people, and I still don't know. Like, there's so much shit that I still don't know. I was thinking the other day. I mean, I met all these people from all these different countries and worlds, and this and that, and this and that. You know, I still haven't been outside the country, physically outside of the country, and I'm like, I don't know shit. I don't know a motherfucking thing.
The more people you meet, the more you'll realize people are unbelievably intelligent.
Yeah.
They're unbelievably bizarre. They're absolutely unique.
Yep.
There's uniqueness in small towns, in big towns, in big
everywhere.
Countries, in small countries. People want to travel to Mars. Sometimes you only have to drive 30 minutes for your Mars to exist on Earth, where you go, this doesn't even seem real to me anymore. That's what's so cool about humanity is the difference of diversity in these different spaces. Doesn't always matter your skin color. Doesn't always matter your race, religion, your ethnicity. There's diversity everywhere, and we should celebrate all of it in all of its different forms. And that doesn't mean that all those other things don't contribute to diversity. Absolutely. There's some of the primary colors of diversity, which is cool. But it's so interesting when people think they know what people want. This is what people are. It's like, well, you haven't met enough people, because people have a lot of different opinions, man.
Yeah, a lot of different opinions. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, I like fucking Jay-Z made the whole Watch the Throne album, and you don't think they were thinking this is what the people want? Literally, it's in their song. This is to get the people going. You know what I mean? Like, it's in their whole album, and they bet one of the best selling albums of all time. There's still people that go, well, I don't like that rap shit. You know, like the.
There's going to be stuff that I say tonight that I
Mm.
don't agree with tomorrow.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
I'll be
yeah.
like, you know what? Like I kind of gained some perspective based on like what I
Right,
heard myself say.
right.
Interesting. I don't completely agree with the particular words that came out of my mouth at that time. Like
Mm.
it was maybe an element of where um my mind was going and the thought
Right,
process that I was having in that moment. But
right,
that was a process of my thoughts, but it wasn't the
right,
conclusion of my thoughts. The
right.
conclusion of my thoughts might happen at 10 p.m. tonight, not when I'm
Mhm.
talking to you at 9 p.m. right now.
Exactly,
So
exactly. You
and we
know.
don't give each other enough breaks sometimes with that, where we always think about what's coming out of my mouth right now is always my conclusion when it's actually my
Mhm.
process.
Totally, totally. And you literally think about, and it all comes back to women. It all, you literally think this about like when you go talk to a girl. You know what you said and what you should have said. It's a completely different thing. You know what I mean? When you come back at the end of the day, you're like, golly, I should have said this and that and this and that. It should have been way more. Dang, she would have did this. And but you didn't say it. But you thought you said the right thing at the right time. You thought you did the right thing at the right
But
time.
you
But
sounded like
it
an
is,
idiot.
you sound like a motherfucking fool. You know? Hell yeah, hell yeah. Man, it's 9 p.m. Man, it's good. I think my stomach is feeling some type of way. I don't want to talk about it on the podcast. Um, but I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna step away after this in a minute. But I'm feeling good about this talk. How about you?
I love it. Having a great time. We'll figure out a way to shorten it for we're not always going deep into 2 hours. But this
That
is
it
this is
is what it
great.
is. It is what it is. You know, I'm not
I
tripping
love it.
because there's so much more shit we can talk about too. So we can continue. So I love it, man. So LJ, I appreciate you coming on Smart Mild as always. Like I'm asking you, we just do this, and Smart and Mild is like I said, is something we like to talk about. You know, riff and talk about sports, current events, and what's smart, what's mild. You know, it's something cool. So we appreciate whoever's listening. We appreciate all like the listeners and the viewers in the future. And we can't wait to engage with you and talk to you later on. So thank you guys and have yourself a good night.
I love it. Nice talking to you, Cam. Appreciate
All
it
right, man.
every single time.
Hell yeah. Big time, brother.